What is going on, guys? This is my full card fight prediction and betting breakdown for UFC Fight Night Fiziev versus Torres in Baku, Azerbaijan. I know this is another late upload. Card starts in roughly 5.5 hours. But, look, I've had another long week. Been fucking grinding. It's about 3:30 in the morning here. Been grinding, doing research for the last few hours. So, look, I'm going to try and get these on schedule, but hey, if you guys are watching, doing some late night research before the card, join me and I'll tell you guys what I think. So, first fight of the night, we have both fighters making their professional debut. $1 billion company, by the way. But in all seriousness, we have Tahir Abdullayev versus Jefferson Nascimento. Tahir Abdullayev is the hometown fighter, born in Baku. He's coming off of a 4-fight win streak with 3 of those by submission. But Tahir should not be a welterweight, bro. Like, he could easily make it in 155. He's only 5'8" and, like, is plotty for 170. Really didn't see anything impressive about his latest fights in the regional scene. Like, the guys he's fighting are bums. And it's not like he's landing some nice double leg to get in on these takedowns and find the sub. Like, these dudes are literally just throwing kicks and falling over, getting subbed with just, like, zero adversity. And on the other side, Jefferson Nascimento, he is the lightweight champion over at LFA at 155 pounds. Or I just said that, lightweight champion. He's got good boxing, a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I know he's coming up from 155, taking this on short notice. But I think he's going to get this done still. Like, there's really nothing impressive on the side of Tahir. And from the fights that I've seen, Jefferson has shown good boxing, good sprawls, and he's got good jiu-jitsu. And in the last card, I feel like the Oliveira and the Bolaños fight showed me that I need to stop overestimating size in fights. Like, Nascimento is clearly the more skilled fighter, and I think he gets it done by decision. So my first pick, Jefferson Nascimento by decision. And that puts the Azerbaijani fighters at 0-1 to start. So they're not going to be happy. Next fight of the night, we've got Beksat Almakan versus Gene Matsumoto. I really like Beksat. Like, he's got really nice, quick, in-and-out Soviet-style boxing. Sort of reminds me of Magomedov from last week's fight, like his sort of style in the stand-up game. He's got a really good rear uppercut, knees up the middle. He's super fast, too. We saw that rear uppercut against Brad Katona. He's not the biggest for 135, but he's extremely skilled and is battle-tested. Sitting at 1-2 in the promotion. But 2 of his losses are to Umar and Alexandre Topuria. And he dropped Umar really bad in their fight. Sort of just got size and power logged against both of those fighters. And on the other side, I really rate Gene Matsumoto's performance against Basharat. I think he actually could have won that fight. And I think this fight's going to be very similar. Like, I think Beksat's going to win the first round clear on his bike, picking apart Matsumoto with his jab, uppercut, calf kicks, maybe mix in a couple takedowns. But eventually, I think the pressure is going to be too much. I think he might have a good beginning of the second round, but Matsumoto starts a pull away late in the second and wins the third pretty clear. And it's going to be another really close 29-28. Maybe another split for Matsumoto. I think he's coming off of at least back-to-back split decisions. It's typically how his fights go. It's typically how his fights go. Like, he's very hittable, but he's also hitting you at the same time. So very high output, but also getting hit a lot. It's a really close fight. I think it's tough, but I think it's gonna go very similar to the Farid Basharat fight. And I think Basharat is a level above Almakan. I think Matsumoto's proven that he can beat someone at this level. So yeah, I think it's going to be 29-28 Matsumoto. If there is a finished fight, it's maybe Beksat early before Matsumoto can really get started. Maybe hits him with an uppercut. Matsumoto's got a good chin, but like, you get caught clean with an uppercut, you're probably going to go down like Katona. Or maybe Matsumoto late, putting on the pressure, dropping him the same way Topuria did, but really following up and getting it done maybe in the third round. But either way, both of them have shown a lot of durability in their career so far, so I think this fight goes the distance, and I got Gene Matsumoto by 29-28. So let's move on to the next fight. We've got Daniil Donchenko versus Theodor Bergen. Bro, I can't even lie. I don't want to be a dick, but Theodore, he just looks like a soy boy, bro. He's a soy boy, man. Like, he's a slick striker, can switch stances, usually out of that southpaw stance. He's got a decent head kick and pullback counters, but he doesn't really have any pop in his shots. Like, he doesn't really step into them, and he's also not very strong for the division. Like, I saw him get taken down probably 15, 20 times in the first two fights of film I saw, or first two fights of film that I did for him. Like, and you look at Donchenko on the other side. Like, guy's absolute rip sauce. He's going to be training with Fiziev and Yaroslav Amosov during his camp. He's by far the more explosive and dynamic striker. He's really quick, too. He's got good calf kicks like we saw in that Alex Moreno fight. Good elbows in the clinch and crazy power. I'm really confident Donchenko gets this done by TKO. Like, Theodore also just seems really chinny. So I've got Daniil Donchenko, round 1 KO. And let's move on to the next fight. We've got Khan Ofli versus Javier Reyes. My first underdog pick of the card. I'm going with Khan Ofli. Khan Ofli's pretty well rounded. His strong suit's definitely the grappling department. He should honestly be 1-3 in the promotion. I thought that last fight against Ija was a robbery. Like, should have at least been a draw. That was definitely a 10-8. But regardless of that, Javier Reyes is dog shit, bro. And I think Khan Ofli should get the win. Like, I know Ofli was getting pieced up in his last fight, and if Reyes hits him with a good shot, he'll probably go down. But I just can't get myself to pick Javier Reyes, bro. Like, and I don't know why this line's so big in his favor. Like, he seems pretty big for the division, but he's so hittable. And I think Khan should be able to win by landing some big shots on the feet, mixing in his takedowns, slowing down Reyes throughout the fight. I'm not sure if Khan has the power to finish him, so I'm going to say he wins by decision, but I could still see a KO. Like, the only thing, as I said, you have to worry about on the Reyes side is a fluke KO. So I think Khan Ofli gets this done by decision. And let's move on to the next fight, which is Nurslan Rujaboev versus Andrei Pulaev. I think this is a good sell high spot on Pulaev. Like, I understand he went the distance with Gautier, but Ateba clearly has some things to work on in the stand-up game in terms of the footwork, shot selection, and his ability to cut off the cage. And, like, at this point in time, Ateba is still just like an aura and power merchant. Like, I think Rujaboev is a higher level striker than Ateba. Like, obviously not the power, but like skill wise, he is a better striker. And the only thing you can really say about Puliev's performance against Ateba is that he's just a little bit better than the Ozzy Diaz's and the Jose Medinas of the world. Like, yes, he's got a really nice body kick, which will be open for him as Rujaboev was fighting out of orthodox, but we saw that he was hittable. We saw that he was hittable in the Ateba matchup, and like, even with Ateba's lack of skill in the stand-up department, like, I think Rujaboev should be able to catch him with a straight right, maybe an uppercut, and put Pulaev out. I'm thinking Rujaboev round 2 TKO. That's my prediction for this fight. Let's move on to Abdul Rahman Yakiaev versus Julius the Juicebox Walker. Like, I like Julius Walker, but the fact that you're going to war with Rafael Sequeira means that Julius is just not on the same level as Abdul. Like, both of these guys are definitely hittable on the feet. Like, we saw Abdul was low-key getting smacked on the feet by Ribeiro before he got that finish in the first round. But you still have to lean Abdul with the grappling advantage. Like, there's just levels, bro. Julius's background is fucking basketball, and like, Abdul has probably been grappling since he came out of the fucking womb, bro. And just look at the bloke. Like, look at the guy. Like, he's gonna get you down. He's gonna sub you. He could get the TKO on the feet, but obviously his easiest pathway to victory is on the ground, so I think sub's the best option. I'm going Yakiaev round 1 submission. Next fight, we've got Farman Hasanov also making his professional debut against Eric Nolan. Eric Nolan was the guy who lost to Susarkaev on 4 days' notice. And at the time, Nolan's performance looked really good against Susarkaev, but now we know that like all of Beisenger's opponents look good against him until they don't and get finished. Like, I just don't know how much I rate that performance. I know it was on short notice, but like, Hasanov's dangerous. He loves the big meaty hooks. He's very wild on the feet. And Nolan's a sharp boxer and was able to hurt Sasakaev at the end of that first round. And Sasakaev was honestly just saved by the bell. But I think Hasanov is going to be moving forward. He's going to be throwing these big meaty shots, big meaty hooks, wide overhands. Eric Nolan's going to be piecing him up, hitting him with that jab, and eventually Hasanov's going to throw that overhand or maybe right hook as a feint and come in with that double leg and just start piecing up Eric Nolan on the ground. Like, some of the film that I watch, Hasanov has some of the craziest ground and pound I've ever seen. Like, he beats the fuck out of dudes on the ground. Like, I think Hasanov should honestly get it done round 1 TKO by ground and pound. But I think even if it does get out of there, like, Eric's going to get beat up so bad on the ground that I think Hasanov still would get it done early second if Eric's able to survive that first round. So I've got Hasanov round 1 TKO. That puts the Azerbaijani fighters at 1-1 on the card. And let's move on to our main card, starting with Abus Magomedov versus Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. I remember watching the Piper versus Abus fight and being so frustrated and wondering why Joe was engaging and like even initiating in the grappling in the first round. But in hindsight, I think it was really high IQ from Joe. Like, I don't know, but I think Piper's plan was that he knew he was good and strong enough to survive that first round with Abus on the ground and force Abus into like these high intensity grappling exchanges and have him get tired going into that second round. Like, we know Abus doesn't have good cardio, but the question is whether or not Mikhail can withstand that onslaught of offensive grappling from Abus in the first round like Joe did. Mikhail's dangerous on the feet, and if he can get out of that first round or maybe first 7.5 minutes, he's got a good shot of getting Abus out of there, but I'm not confident that he can do so. And this is coming from someone who's actually a big fan of Mikhail. Like, I really like his style. I think he's a cool dude. I'm now fighting with the Fighting Nerds. Like, I like him a lot. I'm not a fan of Abus whatsoever. He's sold me on a lot of parlays, bro. Like, these buns. But I think the grappling diff is too much. I think Abus is going to get it done round 1 sub. That's my prediction. This fight's sitting at even odds. Need to look at the price for Abus by sub, but I really like that. Maybe you could do a alternate method of victory double, like Abus by sub, Mikhail by KO. I'd imagine that price is really high, but I think that's a lock. So yeah, I'm taking Abus round 1 by submission. And let's move on to Ikram Alexskarov versus Bruno Ferreira. This is my second big underdog pick of the card. Bruno's sitting at around a 2-1 underdog right now. Like, I know Ikram's solid and a win over the Iron Turtle's good, but like, what else has he got besides that? Like, his only notable wins besides that are Hawes, Alvey, and Muniz. Like, I don't know. Like, we've seen when he takes that step up, like, Jungsung Park, yeah, he won, but he didn't look good in that fight. He got immediately starched by Robert Whittaker. And I know Bruno's not on that level, but, like, I just see him putting him out. Like, I think maybe Ikram's going to get him down a few times, hold him up against the cage, and Bruno will just play the nail until eventually Ikram gets tired, and Bruno's going to pour on the pressure, become the hammer, and get him out of there in the late rounds. I got Bruno Ferreira by round 3 TKO. Like, not impressed by Ikram so far in his UFC tenure. I think if he wins this fight in good fashion, then I will think very differently of him, but I don't know. I think Bruno's good. I think he might get this done. Round 3 TKO. That's my pick. I know it's controversial. This is my second big underdog pick of the card, and I know they didn't go well last week with Feely. But Feely also looked good until he didn't. So I've got decent reads, I think. And these underdog picks are going to go my way eventually. Last card was a bad week, but I'm feeling very confident about this card. I like Bruno Ferreira as an underdog. I've got a round 3 TKO, and let's move on to Asu Almabaya versus Charles Johnson. I feel like you gotta lean Asu just based on consistency and more pathways to victory. Like, Charles is obviously always going to be dangerous on the feet, but the blueprint for victory against Johnson was paved by Temirov. And Asu, also Kazakhstani, has a pretty similar fight style. I think he should get it done in a similar fashion. Like, Asu's hittable when he crashes in, like as we saw in the Perez fight, but his shot selection and speed, like, and his takedown entries are elite. And I think that he should be able to steal a round or two just based off the control time and the damage on the ground. So I think Asu should get this done by decision. Sucks for Charles. He keeps getting fed absolute dogs, and sometimes he gets it, sometimes he doesn't. But yeah, Asu, based off of the consistency, off of the grappling diff, and I think he's good enough to handle the stand-up with Charles, although it is dangerous. I think Asu is still going to win this fight by decision. So let's move on to Nazim Sadikov versus Mateus Camilo. Camilo, he's a well-rounded fighter. Took the Gabe Green fight on short notice and looked good until he got subbed late and had a shaky W against Slaviklaus in his last go. I think he's good, but I don't think he'll have the size or strength to use his grappling effectively against Nazim, against Nazim the same way Fares Ziam did, or he won't have the power to hurt Nazim the same way Mota did in their last fight. We've already seen how Nazim can perform in his own country under the most pressure that any man could possibly be. And now that he knows he can perform under this pressure, I think he's going to excel. I think Nazim should break Camilo and finish him in the second or third round with a straight left, or maybe even a head kick on that rear side. Like, every single fight that Nazim has had in the UFC is by finish. So I think he's going to continue the streak, finish Camilo in the later rounds. I've got him by round 2 TKO. Let's move on to Shara Bullet versus Mikhail Pereira. I feel like this is pretty straightforward. Like, Mikhail has not looked the same over these last couple of years, and the Reese performance was just so dog shit. I don't think I could ever pick him again. Like, Shara being able to put out Armin Petrosian on the feet and win in the stand-up, like I know his record's not great, but Armin Petrosian beat G-Rod and CLD in his UFC run. Like, that's very impressive, and Shara was able to do it on the feet, where most guys have to go to the ground to beat Armin Petrosian. So I know he doesn't have the craziest power. I don't think he gets the finish, but I think he's going to style on Mikhail, especially in the later rounds. I've got clear 30-27 for Shara Magomedov. I think this is pretty straightforward. And yeah, let's move on to the main event. My boy, Rafael Fiziev versus Manuel Torres. I really don't know why Fiziev took this fight. You know, if he loses it, it's by first round humiliation. Like, if he loses this fight, he's going to get slept in the first round. I feel like he should have moved to 145. It would have been the better move for him career-wise. I think he has a better chance of making a run there, and obviously there's a bunch of fresh matchups as well. But nonetheless, I think people have this vision of Torres, including myself, before I watched the tape, of like a Carlos Prates-esque 155er, but the reality is he's so open throwing that 1-2 that he wants to land, like the 1-2 that he actually puts everyone out with. Like, I know that everyone's thinking about Fiziev getting caught with that straight punch against Rufi, but Rufi's he's a more precision striker, and he's like a more multi-dimensional striker than Manuel Torres. Fiziev knows Torres is trying to land that left hand, and that left hand only. Fiziev was guessing against Rufi, because Rufi got his back up against Cage. Bang! That left hand comes out of nowhere. Bang! That right hand comes out of nowhere. Bang! That body kick. Like, we know what Torres wants to do. He wants to land that left hand down the pipe and put Fiziev out the same way Rufi was able to. But I think Fiziev obviously knows this, and I think he's a good enough striker to take advantage of this, whether it's slipping off at an angle and countering when Torres overextends, or maybe nullifying that first round threat with a takedown like we saw him do against Ignacio last time he fought in Azerbaijan. Like, I know this pick could age like milk, but I'm thinking a slight lean for Fiziev. And honestly, despite the lack of punching power on his side, I think he'll break Torres in the later rounds and win by TKO in rounds 3 or 4. Like, Torres hasn't been outside the first round in 7 years, bro. Like, who knows what he's going to look like when it gets to that deep waters. Like, Fiziev has been there, bro. He's done 5. He's won in the 5th round. Like, we know that he can do this. I think Fiziev is going to shine in Azerbaijan once again and go 2-0 back-to-back years in Baku, Azerbaijan. That is my main event pick. This could age absolutely horribly, but I gotta stick with my gut here. I'm going Rafael Fiziev round 4 TKO. Thank you guys for watching. I know it's another late upload. I got to put this up real quick before I go to bed. It's fucking almost 4 in the morning. Jesus. But, look, McGregor card is going to come out a lot earlier. I'm going to do a lot of research on that. We've got a week off, so I'll get grinding on that. Thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, please like and subscribe. And thanks again for watching. Hope you guys have a great day.